So, have you been having trouble getting your prescriptions for your medications filled if you have a provider who practices via telemedicine? If that's the case, stay tuned and find out what's behind it and what you should be doing. Hi, this is J.H. Glade, and something new has cropped up. Corporations such as Walgreens and Rite Aid pharmacies are no longer filling prescriptions for controlled substance prescriptions like Adderall or methylphenidate from clinicians working in a mental health telemed sort of setup. Particular companies, Cerebral and Dunn, who essentially operated as pill mills. They did very quick and dirty assessments and would provide prescriptions. I have two clients from those, and I got to say that their work was totally inadequate. They were clearly a pill mill. So, retail pharmacy chains, Rite Aid has over 2,300 locations across the US, adopted a policy where they were restricting such prescriptions from those two companies. They have extended this. Now, this is a provision of something called the Ryan Haight Online Pharmacy Consumer Protection Act. We are currently operating under lifted rules because that was lifted as part of the pandemic response. And in my conversation with a DEA field agent this very week, those rules continue to be suspended. What this means is that a provider needs to see a person physically within a 24-month period. The doctor could not prescribe a controlled medicine prescription unless this was done. However, the DEA announced this in March 2020 due to COVID-19 public health emergency. Practitioners, and I'm quoting here, practitioners may issue prescriptions for all Schedule 2 through 5 controlled substances to patients for whom they have not conducted an in-person medical evaluation, provided certain conditions. Well, these conditions are no-brainers. The prescription has to be issued for a legitimate medical purpose. The telemed communication is conducted using audio-visual, two-way, real-time, interactive communication. And the practitioner is basically acting in accordance with applicable federal and state laws. So these are no-brainer sorts of things. This public health emergency should expire in mid-October, but in my conversation with the DEA agent and just my awareness that we will probably have a COVID surge come fall. People are not taking mass precautions as readily. We don't have to turn around too far, but what we know somebody who's had COVID. The CDC anticipates still between September 1st and the end of December, we could have as many as 180,000 COVID-related deaths. Will this policy expire? I'm not thinking that it's going to, because we are still going to be having a really difficult time with COVID-related illness. Walgreens Corporation, again, they are a big corporation. They have gone above and beyond this in terms of their rules. They mandate 18 months. They currently are not amenable to changing this. I have this week spoken to two different pharmacists. Doesn't matter. It's a very rigid corporate policy. So if you go to a Walgreens or a Rite Aid, there are some really good odds if you see your provider via telemed that they will not fill your prescriptions. And this is a major pain in the neck for sure. What can you do? Well, I have been advising my patients to look at what options they have for mail order pharmacies. Mail order pharmacies are contracted by insurance corporations, and there are three major ones that most of the big insurance companies deal with. There are some things to know about mail order prescriptions. First of all, They need to be delivered somewhere where someone can sign for them. But this doesn't have to be you. You can also get 90-day prescriptions, which alleviates a lot of the problems created by monthly prescriptions and a very narrow window of opportunity between running out and being able to fill the prescription. So I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to hit a like, write a comment as to your experience. This helps us in the algorithm. Thumping that like button hopefully will gain more visibility. If this presentation has at all been useful for you, what will help spread the word on this is you doing exactly that. Hit the like button, make a comment. So let's go on with what to do. It also places you in a situation where most immediately you may have to look at a local pharmacy other than the one you may have been going to. National corporations, Walgreens and Rite Aid, are now very rigid in their application of this policy. And this policy does not come under the existing federal statutes whatsoever. This is one of the issues, is that pharmacists have the right to decline any prescription. And this can be extrapolated to all kinds of medications. Say you take a medication for opiate addiction, can be turned down. Say you take birth control, and this did come up in the courts some years ago, and I expect to see this challenged again if your provider is a telemed provider. It is going to put many people not able to get good health care. And don't get me wrong, I am all about substandard providers not being able to do bad work. And clearly in my review of 2 clients from Cerebro, this was bad work. This was totally inadequate. These people ought not to be out practicing in the public space. Again, I'd appreciate just hearing about your comments and your experiences. I will be moving this video to the head of the line, and it will be the next one I publish. I am recording this on September 1st. It will go out the following Monday, because this is such a current issue for my clients and everyone else nationwide. Let other people know who might be on medications. Let them know what's behind this, because pharmacies are just saying we aren't going to fill them without giving much explanation. Until next week, thank you for sharing the time with me. This is G.H. Glade for Everyday ADD Coaching.